right, it looks like we are live. Join our Discord. I'm just dropping our Discord link in the chat right now. And I'm going to pin that to the top. All right. Okay. Check out my notifications here, new tweets here. All right, and let's get rocking with the AMC Price Action. Turn the RSI on and off, drag this down here. And what are we looking at for today? Oh yeah, so that is definitely the next level that we've got to attack. So let me put a horizontal line right there. Right about 58, so it seems to be. Okay, so that is what we're watching for next. And for trends, let's look at what we got cooking here. Okay. Let's see if we'll respect that trend. Let's see what happens this last hour. All right. So let me grab a chart. Let's bring it out. Bring it out to here. Move this down. And let's turn off some indicators, clean this up a little bit. And let's turn off auto here so we can see what we're working with. Come on, trackpad is being a little bit funny right now. Okay. Welcome, welcome. And if you got any questions for me regarding price action, trends, technical analysis, spreadsheets, code, I answer all of it. So looks like we are getting a nice green candle right here. Let's zoom in. We are 6 minutes into power hour. And we are making a move. Let's get another retest of 58.58. After we get above 58.58, what we're looking at next would be looks like we got a zone to kick out at, essentially between 50. Let's make this 58.50 and 59, and that's what we'll watch for. Come on, there we go. Another horizontal line right at $59. Because it seems like it's uncertain in this zone right here. Before we'll like once we get a break into here, we'll see what it does and see if it breaks right through it, and then we would be testing 60.54 or 59.70, that area, before going back up to that. So we'll keep a close eye on those marks. Okay, so all right, we got 2 concurrent viewers now. Welcome, welcome to the other person. If you want me to answer any of your questions about stocks, spreadsheets, code, I do all of it. So we're all in the car together. I'm just driving. I just happen to be driving. If you want to take us to a different destination, just let me know and we'll head in that direction. Otherwise, otherwise I've got a default mode going on right here. So I've got a chart set out to the side here, so that way we can interact with our sheets while we keep an eye on the price action, and we can do technical analysis kind of at the same time. So, all right. So what I am working on right now is I'm just back to the options visualizer, and I had an idea that we want to track what's happening with the open. I want to be able to track what's happening with open interests on call options over time. And so before, I had this spreadsheet just dump any old data, just get rid of it, and then just replace it with new data. But now I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is anytime we make a call to get information, all data is valuable since we can track things over time that way. And so instead of purging data every time we update this, we're just going to add it to the bottom of this table, and this is going to be this options tab is going to be our data dump, essentially. So we are going to work with that. And in order to track things over time, I added a new column, an as of date, essentially the date on when this data was pulled. And adding that as a column should be fairly simple. So whenever we make a hit to our URL, whenever we make a fetch request, just record the timestamp that it was done on, and we use that same timestamp in each row for that call. So that is what we are looking at there. It should just populate that. I got rid of the purge data section. I still have all of the old code in case we need it, just in this deprecated file. Deprecated marked with the 2 stars there. That's your typical naming convention for that. And because we have our purge old data, that's all still there. If we end up deciding if we end up deciding what we don't like this new, what we're doing here. So when we populate new data, the one thing that's different here is that this used to be the row that we start grabbing, that we want to start populating our data on is no longer the row index where the data starts, and actually row index where data starts. And this is only used in one place anymore, and so I'm just going to replace that with this, and then I can get rid of this variable. Because now when we populate new data, the row that we want to start on is the last row that contains data, and then we add 1 to that, and that will be our first blank row. And that's where we start populating the new data that we grabbed to preserve the old data too. Let's see. Didn't like, oh, hold on, gotta undo. Row index where data starts, that is for the column, and so that is the name of a variable, and so we still need to keep that name, and then this is the value. Okay. AMC nearing 58, looks like our 4-3 test of 5850. Hoping that it is power hour that we'll just be able to bust right out of that and start testing and make a quick test of $59 again. Just blow through that. Okay. I'm kind of distracted. This green candle is making my eye twitchy. Come on. Let's get it. Come on, you can do it. Okay, here we go. Are we making a run for 59? It looks like it. Come on. So I'm just very curious to see if we make a break of 59 and to see if we'll either break and continue ripping above, or if we'll bounce around in between 58.50 and 59 for a while. We can expect to see a bit more volatility in power hour. People are making decisions on what to do. Maybe a false breakout. Come on. And we're green on this candle again. Come on, let's stay green. Let's push it. Yes, 59. Broke the 59 range, and we are ripping. Let's get rid of that. All right, and the next level that we're going to test is this 59.70 range right here. Bounce around here a couple hours ago in the midday. Oh, looks like we dipped back below 59. Come on, keep pushing. I'm gonna put that horizontal line back right here, so that way we've got a low point, the point we're battling to, and the point where we want to go to. So that will keep things consistent there. Let me move this up. All right. Okay, back to the power sheet for the options visualizer. I think this is everything I need to do to start testing. So let me save that, go to the options visualizer, and this as of date, I'm pretty sure. Well, let me check the version history to see when this was last updated. See version history. I have a trigger set so that it automatically updates this sheet once a day between 6 and 7 o'clock Mountain Time. So yeah, 6:19 p.m. is on June 13th. Let me see. Yeah, it's not the whole table on these. So yeah, the last time that the data was pulled was at that timestamp. So let's go back out, June 13th at 6:19 p.m. So this would be, so June 13th of 2021 at 6:13 p.m. 18:03 p.m. But that's Mountain Time, and I actually want this to do UTC, so Greenwich Mean Time. And I forget what is GST? What is NST? Mountain Standard Time. 7 hours behind UTC. So if we take 6, if we take 18 minus 7, that would be at 11:13 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, or UTC, Universal Standard. Okay, let's get a bounce off of 58.50. As of date, come on. Actually, I think there might be a faster way to do this. I think if I double click on this blue box in the bottom corner, it should autofill, but no, it did it for, it extended the date. So what I want to do is I want to copy this. I'm going to select both of these so that way the function that does the automatic population for me, it will look that I have both of these selected and these are exactly the same. So that tells the function that like, hey, I want to repeat this pattern. And that worked perfectly. So now if we scroll all the way to the bottom, or not scroll, I can just take a shortcut down there. I can do that. Let me resize all the columns here. All right, and now we are ready to continue. So, and actually, since it's, I actually don't want this formatted as PM. I do want this formatted in a very specific manner. So let me select the entire column, go to Format, Number, date, time, date, time. That's what I want. I just want the standard date, time. So now why does that say 2313? I think it automatically adjusted, so I need to change this back to 1113. There we go. Let's copy that down and get rid of all of that. And now select both and fill down. Beautiful. Okay. So that should be the as of date that we want. Beautiful. So let's go back to the code, because the one thing, the format that I did this in is I did this in a month, date, year, and then different form. Well, let's see how I have some other stuff formatted here. Expiration, last trade date. Okay, no, so yeah, this is formatted the same way we want it. There, it just adds the time on. So looks like we got a break out of 5850. So false breakout there. $58.58 seems like it's important. And let's see if this resonates with anything, the top of this. Actually kind of does, so keep that there. And we're definitely not going to be attacking the 5970 level, so I'm actually going to move this back down to previous resistance, which looks like right about here. Actually, I think it's still just following the ascending level of support. So let's draw our trend line back in. Let's extend this into the after hours. I want to zoom in, get this to snap to 5730. All right, let's see what it does. Oh, by the way, guys, I have people finishing my basement, and they are cutting tile today. So, so if they turn their bandsaw on, I am going to be muting, so that way you don't have to listen to that, 'cause it's really loud. All right, let's move back to this, and now I do want month, month, day, day, year, year, year. And I want the format, well, no, I need the value to be formatted the way it is in here, which is that, okay. Year, 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 and then the hours, the minutes, and the seconds, and then UTC. So I just got rid of the A for the AM, PM, and I think we should be good now. So now if I go to utilities and hit refresh options, so at the moment we have 423 as our, or 422 as our last line of our last record. So let's refresh options and see if it works. Oh, that's right, and it asks me what I want to get data for. Let's just do AMC. I think it might have run into an issue. So let's go to our code, executions to look at our logs. Get options was run before set symbols. That's a problem. No logs available. No logs are available. What could have happened? Look back at our code. So when we use that, that opens the options input. And then when we submit, we get the tickers, we check for validity. And it closes if it runs these, which it did. Okay. And setting the symbols, it actually shouldn't matter, set symbols or get options, because we just pass in the parameters as is. Yeah, okay. All right, looks like we are back above 58.58. And yeah, it was this area that the price today has just been really uncertain. It either wants to stay above this area or stay below this area. It does not like to hang out in here looking at this, because yeah, anytime we've moved into this area is either a breakout, we either run up really quick through it, really down through it, and then up and down. So yeah, the price doesn't like to stay in this area. It wants to go below, stay above. And so I'm hoping that because we have this ascending level of support, that this time it'll just want to rip right above it and stay above. That's what I'm hoping for. Let me adjust the brightness. Okay. Hope that's a bit better. All right, looks like we got a new viewer. Welcome. So if you are new to my channel, I cover stocks, spreadsheets, and coding. So if you got questions about any of those subjects, feel free to let me know in the chat. You can also join our Discord if you just want to have an audio conversation with me. I'm a bit more of a conversational person that way. I like to think of it. Oh, and they're gone. Never mind. All right, okay. So let's move back to here. And it looks like there's a saw that's about to come on, so I'm gonna mute really quick. hello to the person who just joined the stream. Just so you know, I've got some people working on my basement and they are like cutting tile downstairs right now. As you can hear, that's the saw. So while the saw is on, I'm gonna be muting. So just Alright, saw is off. And we're probably going to keep having this off and on with the mic and the saw in the background for probably a good little while. We are above 59. Let's hold it. Oh, nope. And there we go. We go up, we go down. It's just the way it goes. Let's expand this. Alright, I'm trying to figure out why. So, fetching URL is running. Just wondering why we're not getting a population there. Come back to this. So, fetching URL, we are getting to that point. If we don't get a response, then we do log all of this. No errors are getting thrown. I'm just curious. Formatting, populate new data. The new data is not getting populated. So there's something wrong with this. Yeah, there's something wrong with this here. So option sheet, get range, option sheet, get last row. All right. Come on, let's get a turnaround. Number of rows to populate is the rows dot length. And then the number of columns. The number of columns is always the same. Number of rows to populate is rows dot length. This is the column that we start getting at. This is the row that we start getting at, which is the last row plus 1. Yeah, I just gotta see what the options range is and what the row is. That's what I'm curious to see. So, options range and rows. That's what I want to see. So we're going to console log that, come back to the code, run utilities, hit refresh options. Are we going to get a perfect bounce off of this level of support, off of this ascending level of support? Let's see. Let's get a bounce. Come on. Alright. Get options. Okay, and then the log should have executed. 135. Get options completed. Okay, and there's our logs. Come on, let's stay green. Logging output too large. Options range. Options range is just a blank object. And then the rows all looks correct. Yeah, the rows looks correct. It's the options range that's all messed up. So let's come back to this. So our rows is good, our options range is not. So option sheet dot get range. Let's check our parameters. So let's console log. Let's see. It's gonna be first blank row is equal to this, and then we have then yeah, we can just console log. We can just use that. Console log first blank row, console log num rows to populate, and console log the number of columns that we want to populate. Console log, we got that. Let's run this again. Refresh options. And once again, come back to code. And you guys, we got a perfect bounce off of this ascending level of support right here. Like I had this drawn out before we hit that point. So that's like perfect technical analysis right there. But yeah, and it's deciding whether or not it wants to dip below this or go or keep going above it. So yeah, we've got some AMC doesn't know what to do right here. All right, get options, running first blank row. That's incorrect, 1360, so maybe it has been populating, it's just been Oh. Okay, so it's been populating. What the heck? Okay, so I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna delete all the rows. Delete. 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 Okay, so now we've only got one that exists. First row without content. I wonder if it's because of this checkbox here. So maybe. So yeah, I think the way to properly do this is that we can never have we can't have any blank rows. And so, and it makes me wonder if it'll work if it'll just automatically add the rows even if they don't exist yet. So we'll see if it works. Keep that console log there because that was handy. I didn't even think to look down. All right. Okay, utilities, refresh options. Let's hit AMC, submit. Guys, that was perfect. That worked perfectly. That's exactly what we want it to do. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, great. So now that we have that, I feel comfortable to deprecate or to get rid of the deprecated get option, so we can remove that, save some space. We can keep using this. And I don't think we need to use the code anymore. I think at this point we are good to just dive right into some spreadsheet magic. So, all right. Hello to our recent viewer that just joined. Just so you know what we do here, I cover tracking stocks, making spreadsheets, and building code. If you got questions about how any of those work, feel free to put something in the chat. And oh, Miss Irish Eyes, you're back. Hello, question for you. I was looking at your wonderful sheet for wealth management. Question on tax rate of 37%. Everywhere I Google, it says 21 for any income, 445,850 plus the tax rate is 20. So where I get the 37% from, let me go to, and Miss Irish Eyes, are you, I'm so sorry, I've got a bandsaw in the background. I've got people finishing my basement. So, so the wealth management sheet you're referencing, is that the old version or the new version that I put out last night? I'm just curious. The old version. Okay, let's take a look at the old version. Old version. The old version's owned by my personal account. Oh, I can't combine those. All right, and I need to move this up a little bit. Come on. There we go. So the 37%, where I got that from is, I think I got it from the tax brackets, because it's 37% is the top range of any of the federal income tax bracket. The reason why 70% instead of the 20% for capital gains is because when it comes to stocks as securities, if you have held your position for less than a year, so essentially if you buy a stock in, let's say, February, and you sell it that same August, if you don't hold it past the next year, you get the profits you make from the sale of that stock is considered part of your income, not capital gains, which is actually detrimental. Capital gains is actually better than having it put into your income. But so yeah, if you have a short-term position that you sell, then it goes into the income tax bracket, which maxes out at 37% on the federal. Whereas if you have held your position for more than a year, then you would get the 20% capital gains tax. So that's very important to understand. And that's why in some like Twitter circles, you'll hear people saying just like, be prepared to pay up to like 40, like in the mid 40% of your gains, because you got to take into account that if you're selling a short-term position, that's going to go into your federal income tax, and then you also have to pay your state capital gains tax. The old version of this sheet does include state tax now. You were with me on that call when we did that. So on the old version of the sheet, to change that, you just go to the state tax bracket tab and change your state of residence to have that calculated in. But with this tax rate, I just had it at a flat 30. Like you can on the old version, you can change this right here to whatever you want. Yeah. With the new version, though, the new version does take into account if you have held onto your position for longer than 1 year, and that affects the taxes differently. So you can see that so if I uncheck this, meaning that it's a short-term position, these numbers will, the net profit will go down. So, so watch for this specific number. So gross profit stays the same. Net profit will go down when I uncheck this. There we go. We're back to 11. If we have held for more than a year, then we get more net profit. So the new sheet does take this into consideration, and the new sheet puts all of your like controls and configurations right on the dashboard. And then for like recurring expenses, all of the stuff you fill out on tables, those are all in the red. So feel free to edit anything on the red tabs in the new sheet, or your copy of the new version that isn't in orange. Yeah, the new sheet's pretty cool, especially if you're on a desktop, because with the desktop, I have this sidebar app that you can do a configuration, and instead of trying to figure out what all this is, it will ask you like actual questions as if it were somebody preparing something for you. So like, how much net profit do you want at a minimum? And then there's a whole wizard you can go through. You can add and you can add stuff to these tables all from the sidebar app. So it's really handy that way. All right. Okay. Let's see. Looks like we're still kind of respecting this trend. Let me adjust the support trajectory on this. Now if we come here, let me move this down a bit further. More recent data is king. So this is what we're looking at for AMC right here. Yeah, if we close where we're at right now, I think that's fantastic. If we close, like, we're up almost 18% on the day. Like, there's no way that, at least I wouldn't say there's no way, but it's very unlikely that we'll come out of this day at a loss. Very unlikely. I'm very happy with where the stock headed for today. But we will keep watching this. Oh, extended hours aren't shown here right now. Chart settings, show extended hours. There we go. Gives us a more accurate take on when things are going to end in the mini view here. All right. Okay. Back to the options visualizer. So we got this with the calls now. With this sheet. Open call interest. Did I not? Yeah, I need to extend these formulas. So I'm going to click and drag, select both of these, and then I can just double click to expand the formulas down. Cumulative open call interest. So here's something that we need to think about. This cumulative open call interest, it needs to only consider what was pulled within the time frame, so that way we can also track cumulative open call interest over time. How to do that? Cumulative open call interest over time. So what I'm going to do is I want to keep this strike price. I guess what I need to do is I just need to add another timestamp here, or as of date. Column for as of date, because that would be very important data right now. and I want to get, oh boy, and I want to get unique as of dates for each strike price. Okay, so ooh, something's happening here. They don't want us, I would say they don't want us closing anywhere near the 59 mark. Yeah, somebody's trying to flush us. I think this is the biggest flush we've had in a while, like all day probably. Let's zoom out to the 5-minute here. This is an interesting development. Okay, so this is the entire day. Let's see. I'm gonna wait for this candle to close. We'll see what happens. Cause yeah, we've had some big red candles before, but that's a 1-minute candle though. That's what I want to look at. I want to look at all the 1 minutes. So these are all the 1-minute candles for the day. Looks like their only bigger comparable attack there. So I am going to, let's pull out a calculator. Or actually, let's pull out a spreadsheet. I think I've got a scratch sheet somewhere here. I do not. Let's make one. Google Sheets. This is going to be my scratch spreadsheet. Scratch. All right. So now we have our scratch spreadsheet. I'm going to shrink this down. So, I don't think that bandsaw is too loud. All right, so that was 13:15 minute mark. So at 13:53. At 13:53, we opened at 57.07. Opened at 57.07, and then we closed. Let me zoom into this candle. Yeah. Because yeah, I don't care about the high, I just care about when it opened, and I want to see where, and it closed, or the low. I want to look at the low, 55.55. So 55.55, and the difference is equal to this minus this. So it dropped $1.52, but in what time frame? Or, well, not in time frames 1 minute, but on how much volume did it drop like that? That's what I'm curious to see. The volume 1.143445. 1434445. 1434445. 1434445. Yep. Okay, that was the volume. And now I want to look at this big thick candle here. So it opened at 58.15. 58.15. And its low is 56.76. Which is a difference of $1.39, but what was the volume on that? 1383869. 1383869. Yep. Okay. And this happened at 1552. 1552. And this, so time, so time, open, low, diff, volume. All right, so now I want to see essentially I want to see the difference between the diff and the volume. And I want to see the relationship between those. So yeah, that dipped really hard, really fast. All right. Difference, volume. Essentially just take the difference divided by the volume. Let's switch it around. Yeah, because I want to take the volume divided by the difference. So, 5, so 1,000. So I think that this was our biggest attack of the day. Close that. Come out to here, and we are in the last few minutes of Power Hour. I'm hoping for a close above 57 at this point. Let's push it. Let's push it. We got less than a minute left. Come on, let's go. Well, this trend completely broke, so we can get rid of that. Come on, 56.90. Let's push above 57. And 57, 2, 1. And the market is closed. Okay, 56.97 looks like what we ended at today. So, let's see. So we closed today at 56.97, which was up 15.32% from yesterday, which is absolutely incredible. And let's take a look at our volume analysis. Our volume analysis says that most trades that most volume was done at the 58% $58 price pivot, volume pivot, and then volume for the day was 296.62. Oh. 296.62 million. Okay. And I'll be updating this once after hours is closed. The construction guys, they're turning on some machinery right now, and I've got a job interview that a call that I gotta take soon. So also take the opportunity to get some lunch. But I might be posting a video later tonight, so just stay tuned, and we'll see how after hours goes. So thanks for watching, everyone.